Welcome along to F1 Union, where today we are here for round 1 at Australia for the 14th season of EXFL Tier 1. And it's the first time I'll be doing a voiceover instead of just uploading the whole stream from Twitch. So you'll occasionally hear myself and my teammates' audio in real time, as I've been wanting to do a bit more of a commentary style video instead of just uploading the whole thing. But we're here for qualifying then to see what kind of lap time I can do, try and put in the best lap possible. Obviously completely new generation of cars from last season, 25 onto the 26, where the battery is so important. So here we go then, first run, boost on over the line, down to 90%, put it into medium, lift and brake, diving into turn 1 and 2. I actually thought I took this pretty nicely, blasting until straight mode to keep it in medium as the times are starting to ravel from everyone else, into the heavy braking of turn 3, lifting, braking, inside curb, touch and then get on the power as soon as possible, and then medium throughout the rest of sector 1. Straight mode on, little lift and brake for the right hander. It's a 26.7 for the first sector, so as far as bankers go, this wasn't too bad. I think I was doing, as straight mode's on, as we blast down to 15%, I think I was doing 17 zeros pretty constantly for bankers, and then like I said, getting into the 16s and then making our way to at least a 16.7, which is the best I've done. 44.1 then, middle sector split. We're out of battery as we're heading into the right hand 90-degree corner. This is the corner I'd say I was struggling with the most. As you can see, the rear stepped out there on the power, but we carry on medium throughout the final couple corners, just wanting to make sure it's tidy. It's obviously a banker, not trying to push the limits too hard, but we're getting on the power as soon as possible. As soon as we're confident enough, power to the line with the battery, with the straight mode, and it'll come across the line then, and it'll be a 1 minute 17.066. Puts us quickest at the moment.
The final corner, I had a massive slide.
Solid banker. It's just GFO Donnies all behind me.
And yeah, like I said, there's the GFO guys, they're not messing around. They really have found a lot of pace over the off-season, and I think they're going to probably be right up there in every qualifying and race this whole season. But we're coming around the final corner and to start our second run of qualifying. Vinaris has gone ahead of us. I think he did 0.8 already, and there's definitely more to come from that. But we're diving into turn 1 then, trying to see if we can improve, and unfortunately we have invalidated. So that's already the lap gone. We have enough fuel to go again, which is what we're going to do. But annoyingly, that is some tyre wear lost, and just, you know, ruins the momentum slightly of qualifying. I guess a bit of the mindset. But we'll be going again and trying to see. As we can see, Audi have now gone 1-2 with Stelios going just ahead of us as well. So we're going to try again all the way around the lap with just under 7 minutes left of qualifying. Crossing the line then, down to 90%, trying to attack turn 1 like we did on our opening lap. But as you can see, unfortunately, we're just a 10th down, and seeing that right at the start, little demotivating. But we progress down into turn 3, and you can just see we're not quite as flowing as we were in the first run, taking the inside curb too much there, and still a 10th down come the end of sector 1. If anything, I think I used a bit too much battery compared to the first run, as well, as you're about to see when we start burning the lap time go up, which will be about now. You can just start to see the thousandths just toggle on to one another, and yeah, the lap's already starting to be a bit of a write-off. As you can see, Tesaurus in the top left has also gone to make it a GFO 1, 2 and 3, so we're now down to 4th. And if there's any salvage of this lap, it'll be into this right-hand corner, which we kind of messed up on the first run, but we've messed it up again, as I was just not feeling it into that right-hander. But we still have found actually a little bit of time, and actually heading into this left-hander, we are actually into the green slightly, but unfortunately it falls away from us as we blast our battery to the line, and now it's just going to start increasing because we used too much over the lap. So across the line, it's not an improvement, and we'll have to go one final time as I straight line turn 1 at the end of qualifying. Still 4th, but one more chance to give it everything. And while all that was happening, Vinaris actually went and did a 0.6, which was quicker than anything I'd done in practice up until this qualifying. So I knew pole was kind of out the window, and I mean, the first qualifying of the season always kind of sets the tone for who's going to be quick, who's not. Obviously it takes a few races for that to fully unfold, but this one was quite clear that him and GFO in general were going to be quite a force. But we've started our final run. So far so good until we go slightly deep there, and that's actually cost us the run all the way to the end of the first sector. Really, now we're even worse off than our second run, as we're nearly 2/10 down, as well, it's not looking great. But like always, we'll carry on with it, blasting all our battery on the middle straight, and we'll see if we can find a bit of time. This time it's a bit of the opposite, with the thousandths ticking down as we close up to the end of the middle sector. So only just under a 10th down, flicking it left and right, trying to give it absolutely everything. But we're still down slightly and we're out of battery, so the time's ticking back up into the 90-degree corner. Can we get it right for the last time? Not quite. So every lap we've done has not exactly been great through that 90-degree. It's just not been sitting well with the setup and the feeling in the car. And again, in the second last corner, it's just all gone away, and that is the lap done. That's quali over, and it'll be 4th at best as we cross the line.
That's really disappointing.
So yeah, as you can hear, I wasn't really happy with that qualifying. The fact that we didn't even get into the 1-minute 16s after I've been doing a lot of that in practice, it was yeah, quite disappointing. As we can see, the rest finishing their runs. I managed to just hang on to 4th by 7 thousandths ahead of Fire, who actually heading into this qualifying I thought he would be right at the front, but I think his race pace reflects a lot better than his quali pace right now, as Chris goes P6, so we're just going to hang on to 4th. Definitely could have been at least 3rd if we found just a solid lap all round, really. But it is what it is. Well done to Venaris on what was a mega pole, and also to Saris in P2 on debut as well. But that's it, that's quali done, and we just have to move on and focus onto the race. So we've loaded in to the formation lap then, just finished my setup tweaks, fuel loads, and any changes to my strategy. Everyone around us pretty much on the mediums. I think there was only one guy in the field on hards towards the back. But yeah, we're just going to be lining up on our grid box now.
Loads of people are just going to burn all their battery right at the start.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Alright, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
So here we go then. This is it, the start of Season 14 in EXFL Tier 1. Everyone's lined up on the grid, and we're just awaiting for the 5 red lights to signal the start here in Australia. It's lights out and away we go in Melbourne. We've got a decent enough start, but Fire has got a better one as he's heading into turn 1 and going around the outside of the Haas, as we're just trying to keep it clean in P5. But Fire has gone from 5th to 3rd, and now we want to try and gain a place as well. So we spy an opening on the Haas, who's not got the greatest of getaways considering he started P2, as we go around the outside and we're up a place from what we lost on Fire, who's already on the back of Stelios. You can see Venaris in the other Audi trying to check out already after the first sector. So we've managed to hold position, lost to Fire but gained on the Haas, and then blasting all our battery. Like Will said, on the formation lap, everyone's going to be blasting a lot, which is actually what I remembered right here and then. So I stopped, and we can see Fire closing right up to the back of Stelios, but can't quite get the move done, as for the first time we head darting left and right into the fast chicane. And here I was thinking, it's the first lap though, I want to try and gain as much ground as possible, and then again in a bit of a two-mind state of backing out of it. But Fire's not backing out of it, he goes to the inside, but he goes too deep on Stelios, who switch backs him and gets back in front. And all this squabbling is letting Venaris build up quite a lead after the first lap. But it looks like everyone's managed to get through this first lap unscathed. I think there was a little incident at the back with the RB who started on the hards. I think Will was mentioning something about that. But starting lap 2 then, Fire once again on the charge to the inside. Now he's got the move done, and he's gone from 5th to 2nd in just over 1 lap's time, as we blast our battery to make sure there's no threat from behind. But that's actually put us right towards the inside of Stelios, which I didn't even mean to, just showing how powerful the battery and these cars are when turned to the max. But you can see Venaris absolutely gone from the picture. Now it's Fire, Stelios, me, Chris Mack and Frankie, who is up to 6. So Tesaurus had an awful start from 2nd, now outside the top 6. But I I thought now it's time to just blast all our battery, and we see Stelios' red light flash, so we breeze past him, and we've gone from 5th to 4th. Now we're into the top 3 and closing up to the back of Fire in the Ferrari. Can't quite get him though, and we'll just stay behind for now. And we can see, Venaris 2.5 seconds out in front. We blast the rest of our battery to see if we can get Fire, but to no avail right now. But it's been a solid start, gaining a couple places. As we're just going to cut to the next lap here, and we're still behind Fire. We can see Venaris nearly 3 seconds out in front now. And I think we just caught Stelios kind of napping or by surprise on the previous lap. So we're not just going to stop there. We're going to once again blast everything and see if we can get Fire and move one place higher into P2. So Fire moving left, trying to break a little bit of the slipstream. We can see his red light flashing. We're using up all our battery here and moving to the right on Fire, and we're going to go round the outside, and we've got the move done before we even get to the fast chicane, and we're ahead of the Scarlet Ferrari in the silver Mercedes. And pretty standard fine move, and that puts us up into P2. But we move on one lap later, and now we are the ones under pressure from Fire behind. And as you can see, we are not doing great on battery. Straight mode on, but we're out. And that's going to leave us very vulnerable to Fire behind, who's pretty much going to do the move we did to him on the previous lap. So we're going to see the Ferrari go around the outside, get the move done, and swoop left and swoop right. And for now, we'll just have to stay behind once again, as Stelios is pretty close behind us. There's a little gap towards Tesaros after Frankie spun, and he's gotten ahead of Chris.
Okay, I did get past Fire, and then I was really stupid with the battery, so that's kind of cost us. Bit of breathing room there to taste us.
So moving on to lap 10. Nothing really happened for a few laps, except Fire just managed to pull away, but he managed to get a 3-second penalty while that was happening. So we're still keeping within the vicinity of that and keeping that in mind. However, the tyres are starting to let go. We're on 0%. You can see that white arrow now turning red as Stelios goes around our outside, and we're not really even going to fight it that much as Stelios back in front. We know the pit stops are coming up soon, and Tesaros has actually closed in on us a bit. There's a 2-second gap back to Chris, and
could have got him there. I hate these in between states.
So wasn't exactly happy with the choice of battery there, whether to use it or not, and it just kind of went and met in the middle. But we're closing up to the end of lap 10.
Wow, that's early. Oh, what, they're both in? They're all in, what the hell?
They probably thought I was going to cause something there.
So it was quite early from the guys pitting ahead, because I was always planning to pit around lap 12, so I thought 11 would be the earliest. As we are moving on to the end of 11, you can see I'm not happy with the tyres. They're starting to let go. Venaris is in, but obviously that doesn't really matter. For his sake, he can do really whatever he wants with the strategy. So we do take the lead, heading on to lap 12, and at the end of lap 12, we will be coming in. We see Samuel and Chris behind us actually stay out for one more lap. So I wanted a deficit, and they've even got a deficit over me when they make their pit stop the following lap. So we're in the box now, going from a simple medium to hard one-stop strategy, and we'll be going to the end of the race. Venaris already ahead of us because it was so far down the road. Fire will be going past us, and then Stelios, and then actually Tesaros also manages to undercut us after pitting earlier. But we know we have a 2-lap fresher tyre delta to them as we cut the pit exit, because I guess we're allowed to once at least in a race. But now it's game on. You can see Stelios nearly 4 seconds ahead of us, and Tesaros nearly 3 seconds ahead of us. So we got to get on with it and push. As we cut to the end of lap 14, we've caught Dark Blitz, who was the only hard runner to start on the white stripe tyres, so he is yet to pit. Loses it out of the final corner, so that does give us a good run. However, we are having to blast quite a lot of battery to get past him down into turn 1. We move back left before the braking zone, and we carry on, and we have made a bit of a dent in the gap to those ahead.
Blast so much to get him there. It's annoying.
So a little bit of a hindrance there on lap 15. We're coming to lap 16 now, into the final sector, and you can see the gap is within 2 seconds of the 2 cars ahead as they're starting to battle. Very close to track limits there, as we're really trying to push to close up as quick as possible, but...
Fuck. I'd messed that up. Well done, you idiot.
So yeah, I wasn't very happy at that excursion I took, just pushing too hard, but we've cut quite a few laps later after I've finally managed to catch them after, well, losing about a second and a bit. Otherwise I would have been much closer to them much earlier, but we are now here and that's what matters, with 7 laps to go behind Stelios and Tesaurus, heading down into turn 3 with the 2-lap fresher tyres. We can see Samuel behind has a 3-second time penalty and he's fighting away with Chris. They're 3 to 4 seconds behind, but they will be closing in. I don't really know whether they worked together or they were fighting, but they sure did have great pace towards the end of the race, trying to reel us in, whereas for me, I guess I just felt the race pace wasn't exactly as good as I wanted it to be. But we're closing up to the back of the Haas. We can see his red light flashing. We move right, and like a lot of times this race, that overtake is getting done to perfection. However, this time we run slightly wide through the fast chicane, and that's actually put Tesaurus back on us slightly. We've blasted all our battery in a bid to defend. He goes to the inside. We're going to leave him the space round the outside, and we just managed to hang on after a little bit of a attack back from the Haas. But we've done it, and we're back up into 4th. So before the pit stops were made, this is where we were. We can see Fire is 6 seconds ahead of us with a 3-second time penalty. The win is completely out of the question. Fire there's a chance maybe, but I have to get past Stelios quick to hunt him down. But Stelios, I have to say, put up quite the defence in this race, and I mean, you can tell from the thumbnail he was really the target, as I'm blasting to try and get him down into turn 1 at the start of lap 24. We're to the inside, but we can't quite get ahead, and we're just letting Stelios know we're there, warning him that we are trying our best to come past him, but for now we're just going to have to stay behind, as yeah, he was very clever this race. He knew exactly where to save. Whenever he was flashing, he wasn't out of battery per se, he was just far enough ahead so he knew he didn't have to blast as much. We were just trying to do everything possible. As you can see, Chris 2.9 behind now, so he's gained another second in the last couple laps. But we're moving on to our best opportunity to overtake him, like we did on the second lap of the race, blasting all we can to overtake him. And you'll see his red light start to flash soon. There it is, but we're out of battery, so we're not close enough for an attack on lap 24. And through the fast chicane, I mean, we look close, but with the little battery we have, it's never really going to work. As you can see, Tesaurus has dropped a second back, but he's still making sure to keep with. And Stelios doing everything he can to make it an Audi 1-3 and to get his first podium in general in EXFL Tier 1. This is his, I think, 3rd season in the tier, and yeah, no podiums to his name, so he definitely wants this. And he drove brilliantly to be able to hold me off like this for now. But 5 laps to go then, and you can see Tesaurus is actually putting us under a bit of pressure here, so we're having to blast, and Stelios really does blast a lot on that start finish to make sure he has the gap, making sure I have to blast in sector 1 to keep close to have a chance of closing in on him. But you can see Chris is closing in on us. It's now down to 2 seconds throughout all this time where I'm just stuck in this sandwich between these two who have older tyres than me, and I really can't make much of an inroad. But we've got a decent amount of battery. However, heading on to lap 25 at this straight, I did think, let's not blast everything. Let's try a different attempt. But as you can see, we actually closed up to Stelios quite a lot. And if we had just kept the battery on the whole time, we could have well and truly got him to the insides. There, I went slightly alongside him, so that was quite annoying. And then I decided, let's blast again, but you can see he clearly just turned it off.
Of course, the one lap I don't burn everything is the one lap he's out.
Yeah, that was quite frustrating, but we've still got 4 laps to see if we can try and get him. We just know there's just a bit of pressure lying on us, because obviously Chris is closing up, Tesaurus is right on the back of us, and we are just trying to do everything we possibly can to get Stelios, but he's doing all the right things. And as we dive through left and right again on lap 26, we're blasting, just desperately hoping that he's out before us, but it looks like we always run out before him. It's pretty even. I think I did watch his stream after and saw his battery was pretty identical to mine for a lot of laps, but he just managed to have great exits, and well, considering he had 2 lap fresher tyres than me, he was just overall still doing a really good job. But we're heading on to the third last lap, and we look behind me to see Tesaurus is once again putting the pressure on, making me have to blast, and that actually puts me to the inside of Stelios, and we're actually nearly ahead as we go side by side into turn 1. I leave him the room, and I actually lose the car slightly trying to do that on the power because Tesaurus is putting us under pressure. There's nowhere really to go besides backing out, which I don't want to do, as we went onto the grass there. So Tesaurus has got ahead of us until we go back around the outside because we're not giving this place up. So after a little scare, we've managed to just stay in front of the Haas, who put quite an attack on us, but we managed to just hold off. And well, Stelios gets to breathe a little because I'm sure it would have been a little bit closer to him with a bit more battery, but we've had to watch behind, and that's allowed Chris to be right on the back of this train as Stelios lives for another lap in P3. But yeah, that was looking back, that was quite a fun battle with Tesaurus. It was quite stressful at the time when I had to go onto the grass. But yeah, now Tesaurus finds himself under big pressure from Chris. And as we head on to the penultimate lap now, it looks like Chris is going to be able to get past Tesaurus down into turn 3, which means he is right behind us now, and we're running out of time to get Stelios. And now a bit of our attention is having to be put on behind us on Chris, because he is coming through the field. He's got the fastest lap of the race at this stage. I think there's a few at the back who are going to pit and try and get it, like we see my teammate there get it now, and I think Frankie at the end also tried to do it. But we're blasting our battery, and now we have to watch our mirrors a little while we're doing that. But we're closing up to Stelios, really trying to get to the inside, but we're just running out of straight, running out of battery, and Stelios knows if I am not an inch enough alongside from giving room, he will turn in, and he did that to perfection, like every lap really. He's not really put a single foot wrong, no mistakes, and well, we got one lap left then to see if we can not even just gain onto get the podium. It's if we can even hold on to this 4th place. You can see Fire 4.5 seconds up the road. I'm still convinced if I didn't have that moment into the gravel, maybe I could have got Stelios a bit earlier and been able to chase Fire down. But we're on to the final lap then of the opening round of the season here at Australia, and I still am trying to give absolutely everything to try and get Stelios, but Chris is closing up to us. We're coming under a bit of pressure, a little bit of a wobble out at the exit of turn 2, looking behind us quite a few times as we're closing up to Stelios, but can't quite see any way through as he's just trying to save his battery. A lot of times now, looking back, turn 3 was one of his most optimal spots to just lift and save the battery, because it's quite risky sending it there with the shadows and the tight twisty right-hander. But now it doesn't matter. Now we need a good exit onto the straight, blasting everything we can. We look at our tyre wear, they will hang on to the end, as we obviously pitting a few laps later has helped us in that respect. Pitting a few laps later though in response to Stelios has not helped us because we are not close enough for a move, and this is really our last chance. But we haven't exactly had the greatest run compared to Stelios, and now I think our target has gotten away for today, and now we have to watch out for Chris to the inside, who's trying a little move, but we're hanging on for now. But he's going to have so much more confidence in these final few corners as we're going to try our best to go defensive, but we want to keep to the racing line. He sends it to the inside, we leave him the room, but we've dragged ourselves wide, and now Chris with the momentum is going to hang it round the outside, and on the last corner of the last lap we have lost 4th.
Fuck's sake.
And it's going to be P5.
Where did you finish?
5th.
Unlucky.
So yeah, that was the opening round of the season. Yeah, a bit disappointed to have finished 5th in the end there when we were chasing down a podium in P3 and maybe even P2. As you can see, Fire was only half a second ahead of Stelios there at the end, with his 3-second time penalty added on, meaning if we got Stelios we surely could have got Fire. So a potential P2 to walk away with a 5th, it's not the greatest turnaround. If anything, it's just we've gone a bit backwards from where we started in P4, but it's still points, it's still a top 5 to start the season off, still a long way to go. Just wasn't really happy with the race pace and the consistency that usually helps me out a lot in races. The quali could have gone a lot better. Again, it was one of those where the banker is what put me on the grid, not the 2nd or 3rd run, so have to work on that for next week. And just watching the highlights here as I just reflect from the race. Venaris, I mean, he was kind of untouchable today. He looked like he was always going to win that one, and he definitely looks like the favourite for this season right now, at least on the first race. Fire definitely looks like he can kind of take the fight to him. I think his quali just needs a bit more work, and then I think his race pace is certainly good enough to maybe be on par with Venaris, so we'll see how that goes. In terms of Stelios, he definitely is making Audi look like a huge contender for the constructors as well after a great display today, but we'll see if that keeps up, whether this was a one-off or whatnot. GFO, I think they're the biggest league in Greece. They obviously have esports setups, so they're going to be pretty good in quali nonetheless, I think, every time. So the race may have a lot more opportunities than just what quali provides. You may have noticed, if you've seen from previous seasons, a few names weren't there in the first round. They'll be back for the second, so we'll see what the likes of their paces for China in a week's time. But yeah, that was kind of an okay-ish start. I've never really had the greatest season openers in the league, kind of just been around the whole 4th, 5th mark at best. Some have been even worse than that, 11th a couple seasons ago, but one bad race doesn't make the seasons, and this is only literally the beginning, so I'll get my head down, work hard for the next one, and see what we can do. But yeah, overall, Australia, fun at times, learnt a lot, which is important, and we'll go again. Obviously, moving from McLaren to Mercedes, I did join Merc in season 4 5 years ago, but only did about 6 or 7 races before a change happened that season. But I wanted to return back and actually do a full season with the Silver Arrows, and I like the car. It's one of the best looking, I think, of the grid, and just seeing there a repeat of my overtake. But yeah, that was round 1, and we'll see how things go in round 2. But for now, 10 points on the board, and we'll move on to China.